Kia ora team, Noel off here, host of the Beyond the Surface podcast. Thanks so much for tuning into today's episode. I really hope you enjoy it and get some value. If there's one thing that you can do to support the podcast so we can keep getting the guests on that you love, is to check out our official sponsor, Moana Road. Moana Road are the one-stop shop for giftware in Aotearoa and have a range of products from sunglasses to accessories to handbags to coffee mugs, you name it. Make sure you go check them out, because if you check them out and support them, you're also supporting us with growing our platform. David, bro, thanks for jumping on.
Thanks, bro. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you getting in touch and let me come on. I've heard a couple of the pods and
cheers, bro.
I think it's class. So
awesome.
Yeah, wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah, man. Really appreciate it. And yeah, it's always cool, I think, with the podcast. You know, I've had a few rugby players come on now with like TJ Perenara and a few others, but I think you might be our first like actual footballer. So
that's good. So I'm repping the footballers.
Yeah,
nice.
man. And I'm way more of a sort of football guy than a rugby guy.
Oh, good.
So yeah, this is great. You're the debut footballer on the show, so thanks.
No, perfect. I'm happy to help.
So yeah, bro, I was really keen just to sort of start from the start. You're obviously a legend at Wellington Phoenix, 123 caps, which is awesome. But I was really keen to start at the start of your career and actually sort of journey in life. So you're born in Manchester. Talk to us a little bit about your upbringing, bro. Who was David as a young fella?
Oh, wow. First and foremost, as soon as from what my mum and dad said, obviously, I was just had a ball at my feet from day one, and kicking about in the garden with my granddad, wearing a Man United shirt, and my dad supported Man United massively, so he'd just put all the Man United shirts on me, and then sort of from that young age, that's all I did. My mum used to take me to a local team, like the local teams around here, play grassroots football, and it was a team called Marauders in Prestwich in Manchester. Obviously, no one listening to the pod will have a clue where that is.
Might be a couple.
yeah, a few English people, but so playing local league, and my dad would work 7 days a week.
Yeah. What did he do for a job?
He works in like glazing, so he used to be on the tools, then he was off the tools surveying, and then. We would work on the weekends to actually earn a little bit extra, doing his own jobs and stuff like that to look after me, my younger brother, and two older sisters. So, he was a provider and worked his socks off, and I think that was that's probably been installed into me for going forward in life now. In that discipline. Yeah. Mum took me in, and then from there onwards. She'd come home to my dad and say, look, like, he's pretty good, you know what I mean? You should come watch him. So my dad took a day off work, came down, watched, and said, like, wow, he's good, actually. And local in England, it starts very early. There's scouts there now. I've just been back in the UK with actually one of the guys that actually scouted me from 7 years of age.
No way.
So, yeah, that was pretty crazy.
So, and I guess the English football culture is... it's like a religion, right? Like how it's we think we're diehard rugby supporters of the ABs, the All Blacks, Hurricanes, but football is just a whole different level over in the UK. So what sort of age do you typically start playing footy? Is it like before 5, around 5? It's wild to think you've got scouts even there at the age of 7, right? Yeah,
it's insane. It's almost getting earlier now, because everyone's trying to find the next Phil Foden, the next, Trent Alexander. Do you know what I mean? So they're starting early. It's a crazy format. I think first and foremost, history in New Zealand is rugby. You know what I mean? And that's why it has got that levels to the grassroots and coming through. I think that is changing. Certainly here, it's catching up very fast here. Yeah. In that sense, and. In the UK, it's the opposite way around. The history is in football, especially, totally. And I think that's why they are where they're at in terms of that younger age development and stuff like that. Yeah, because they're all fighting in the same in the same places to get players in.
Yeah, totally. And so you're playing in your sort of local team. Were you always like just naturally gifted footy player?
Yeah, I think so. I was, like at that time, like it's only stories that mum and dad tell me really that that I can remember. But I'd win player of the season each season. I was playing under sevens at 5, and scoring loads of goals, and so I think that people could tell that I was of a good level.
Yeah.
It was probably only until I got scouted. Then I went into Manchester United, went into Manchester City, and they sort of said going into that under age group. When they start to sign for a year, because back then it's very different. Now they sign longer term from younger ages, whereas when I was doing it, it was more of a parents' evening every year to say you're gonna stay on, or you go, oh, that's it for you. Do you know what I mean? So I'd sit in a room with my mum and dad and be ready to go in like you do, you do your parents' evenings.
Parent-teacher interviews.
And then kids would come out crying, parents would come out crying.
Oh, shit.
Like at 8 and 9, I'm seeing it.
You
know what I mean? And these are friends of mine, so. That aspect of it was very tough. It was a lot more cutthroat probably back then in terms of the way they did things. I think they've developed massively in that space now. And they're giving longer term contracts, and there's different stipulations put in place now for, bringing in foreign kids that are away from areas. They've got to be within 60 minutes of that area.
Right.
Do you know, that catchment?
Yeah.
So I think like football's changing over there in that instance. So for me, I got through to that. I got through to picking sort of which club I wanted to go to, and at that time Manchester City was bringing through some young players, and you know what, I picked it on enjoyment. I think all kids should, if that's the environment that you feel like you enjoy the most, then you're going to be at your best. Yeah. So I picked it on enjoyment, and my dad was pretty, my dad being a United fan, would probably want me to play for Man United. Totally. Do you know what I mean? But to be fair to him, and that's something that stayed with me, is him saying like, look, where do you enjoy, son? And I said Man City, and he says, right, let's go to Man City. Do you know what I mean? So it was the right thing for me, and and then I continued through all the age groups each year, and managed to, you see, like I said, then you see so many come and go. Through from up all the way through. Yeah,
totally. I was about to say, like, because Manchester City, Manchester United, like massive derby, there must be so much tension. How do you usually choose like what team to support, if you're United or City?
Oh, it was so
a coin, or?
Yeah, it was so weird because obviously I was brought up as a Man United, with my dad, supporting Man United. But then obviously gradually as a young kid, you start to play for Man City. You're wearing the shirt every week. Yeah. Then you start to develop your own feelings towards that football club. I was also like at the old main road. I was a ball boy. Then at the new stadium at the Etihad, I was a ball boy. So what they do through the ages of like 12, 13, 14, you'd have to be a ball boy for those 3 years. Yeah. So every Saturday I'd be at the games being a ball boy.
What a cool experience that would be.
Oh, it was unbelievable. But
it's like a dream.
Again, it's probably, they looked at it probably like getting a feel for the environment and what it's like, and you know what I mean, and getting used to crowds and stuff like that. So no, it was very, very privileged to even do that job as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's incredible, bro. And what sort of pressure do they put on sort of young players and sort of academy and like reserve level over in the UK?
I think the pressure it comes from exterior things. I think like you're there because you're a good footballer first and foremost, and you've got something. The pressure comes from the overload of players that are available to actually come in and take your place. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I think that you're actually, especially when I was coming through, and now as well, you're fighting against not just English kids. You're fighting against the best players at that age group in the world.
In the world, yeah, totally.
Because they can go and bring them in at, at 17, 18 anyway. Yeah. So I think it's all exterior pressure. Yeah. I think that you can only control what you can control in the moments, and do your job, and if your journey then takes you down that path that's going to be a successful one, and you've got to be on that path yourself, doing the right things.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, man, it must just be a crazy sort of pressure cooker for so many people, but what a dream to be playing in those sort of reserve teams and aligned under the sort of scout and management of Man City. When it comes to then, I guess, like the sort of next level of professional footy, what does that process look like from a sort of junior going into getting your first sort of contract? Because you were with Man City for a while, but you moved out on loan to other clubs. So yeah, what did that first bridge of like professional footy, getting your first contract, like that must just be bloody exciting.
Yeah, it was crazy because, you know, at 16 you sign like a youth scholarship contract, probably about £80 a week at the time.
Even that must be like...
So like what, $160 a week? Well, I think I was paying £180 for my bus ticket and my Metrolink ticket.
True.
So my train ticket. Because I used to get up early. I'd get a train from where I lived into the Manchester City Centre, and then I'd get a bus. So I'd do that to football every day, and then back from football every day. So that took up most of my wages anyway, and then what I'd give to my mum for staying at the house. So So I got, luckily enough, I had some good years. We won the Night World Cup, which was pretty amazing. Played against some real good stars in that, and then under 17s, I managed to get myself into the under 18s team straight away, which playing with some top players like Daniel Sturridge.
True, no way.
Yeah, Ched Evans, Kieran Trippier, Ben Mee.
Yeah.
So I played with some top players at that time, and from there, I that season I scored. I think it was like 40 odd goals that year.
True.
Throughout there and the reserve league. So back then, the reserve league was made up of ex-pros that didn't play on the weekend. It was very different to what it looks like now. So you always had that connection with the first team of some way. And I was scoring goals in the reserves, scoring goals in the under 18s, and they came to me and offered me a 4-year contract. At City at the time. Yeah. So, you know, at 17, that was amazing.
Hard out.
So that was the first time that it sort of crossed me that, you know, I've got a chance, you know what I mean? So yeah, and then there's different developments over that period of time. I got on the bench a couple of times for the first team. You know, got really close in, got into the first team dressing room, and then, you know, exterior things do happen in the game that, you know, that change your path. And it certainly happened with me, and I don't hold a grudge to it. It is the game, you know. Once any sportsman will tell you, they could have done this, they could have done that if the timing was right. You know what I mean? And things happen. So, but I'm fully like, I feel very privileged of the upbringing that they gave me and what they actually gave me, the coaching and the way they brought me up as a person as well. Like, I feel very, very like happy that I've come through that system. And I think, you know, from over those 2 or 3 years of that system where I were, you know, the amount of players that's actually gone out and earned careers is it shows what a good system I did come through. Yeah,
and it really is like a educational system. Although it's sporting, it's like as a young fella and a young adult into your adolescence, like you're spending the majority of your time probably around those training facilities, around those coaches, around those performance teams, physios. So yeah, it's cool to hear you say you've got like a lot of appreciation for that, because
100%. You know, like I hate when I hear people be a bit like, oh, you know, they did it, you know. No, like it happened for a reason at that time. I couldn't, you know, things at timing's just, you know, pretty much everything, and your path can change at any certain time.
100%.
So, like I said before, you can only control what you can do in the moments, and that's what I've always done throughout my career, and which I'm very happy with. Yeah,
so true, man. And when you were, sort of like, you know, training with Manchester City, Premier League sort of era, so that's talking about like sort of Tevez. Who else was in the squad?
There was like Robinho, Vincent Kompany,
crazy,
Gareth Barry, Adebayor.
Eddie Bayor.
Yeah. There was Zabletta, Mika Richards, Joe Hart.
Insane. He was my favourite keeper. I was a keeper for many years. I loved Joe Hart.
Joe Hart was unbelievable, honestly. The first time I played with him, because he came from Shrewsbury, and he went straight into the reserve team. Yeah. And I just remember this, like, him just, he's one of the best goalkeepers I've ever seen, of just, you know, the sidewinder where you just flick it up and get it out of your hands and hit on the volley. Yeah. And it just stays at one height. Yeah. He was the best I've ever seen. Yeah. And he was just, another great guy as well, off the pitch as well.
Have you got any interesting stories, I guess, being in such, you know, like training with these elite football superstars? Is there anyone out of them in particular which had like, I don't know, an interesting way of training or preparing, or were just like ridiculously skilled? Any sort of standouts for you?
I think ridiculously skilled. Stephen Ireland, played with Stephen Ireland, who was coming through at that time. Was ridiculously, like, he had so much like talent. There was one, Michael Johnson, who only stayed around for people who remember him. City fans will definitely remember him. He had a year when then things didn't go quite right off the pitch.
Yeah.
Robinho was probably one of the best people I've seen of doing things that I'd never seen before.
True.
Do you know what I mean? Brazilian player coming over. I'd never really seen the things that he was doing with the football.
What like?
It was just like the skill set, like the things he was doing. They wasn't normal to what I had been sort of brought up coaching in the English setup, because obviously Brazilians were a bit more. Yeah. They were allowed to express themselves a little bit more probably through their system than the system I came through. So just seeing some of the skill and the finishing that he had was second to none. And then probably one of the best characters I felt on and off the pitch was Craig Bellamy.
Yep.
Like, honestly, like one of the hardest working guys. He was just, whether it was training, whatever it was, he was just on all the time. You could not, you as a youngster, you could not be off, or he'd let you know in seconds.
Really?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I really like that, because I always feel, and I say this to some of the young lads at football at the moment. If I'm on you in a jokey way, or I'm on you in so off the pitch it would be a jokey way.
Yep.
But on the pitch, when I'm on. And if I am saying something to you, it's more because I like you and I want you to do well, because I know you can. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And he sort of did that with me at times, and sort of that resonated with me for a long period of time.
Yeah, and you must get on the flip side, like a lot of the sort of old geezers, and I'm sure you've probably experienced this, who are also just dicks to like the junior young players.
Yeah.
Have you seen a bit of that in your time as well, bro?
Oh, you do. Yeah, you do get it. You can get that. You can get that with players, or you can get that with staff. You know what I mean? I never really. I felt if you trained and you did the right things and you did what was asked of you, and then tried to do what you can bring to the table, you never really got that. But the younger lads who probably did to try things and do things and try to say stuff to him, or
true.
Do you know what I mean? Chip on the shoulder.
Yeah.
They came down on him pretty quick.
Yeah.
Those sort of guys. I remember Joey Barton was a good one. He just smashed me every day, because back then I'd been I used to go on the sunbeds a little bit for like for like drying up I had bad acne at like 15, 16. I'd go on the sunbeds a couple of times to dry him up, and he would just every day, he was like, "Where have you been?" In his Scouse voice, he would just hammer me every single day, and I was like, "Oh my word!" Just couldn't say anything back to him.
That's so good. Yeah, man. And so, you from Manchester City, you got loaned out to Swindon United. Yeah. And you've had quite a lot of movement through different clubs, from Peterborough United, Rochdale, Fleetwood, Bradford. What is for those who don't know, how does that work with, being put out on loan to other clubs, and just your movement and direction across other football clubs? Is that like a part of you that makes that decision? Is it part of like your manager? How does that world of football work?
Yeah, it's pretty it's simple at the same time as it being, a lot of movements going on around it. But at that time, I was Mancini had come in. He sort of like moved me back down a little bit after our time with Mark Hughes. Again, like a different opinion on which is football in a nutshell, really, and sports in a nutshell. Everyone has a different opinion of each and every person. You know what I mean? So I felt at the time I'd been out injured for about 6 months with a metatarsal injury. So I was going from a championship, probably loan move to a League One. So look, I spoke with my agent at the time. And he said, look, the club had come to him and said, look, we think it'd be good for him to go out on loan, get some first team experience.
Yeah.
And I agreed with it. I was probably at around 20 to 21 at that time, and I needed to play first team football.
Yeah.
I needed to go out, and I went out to Swindon. It all in football and sports, it happens very quick when you move. It's like, right, done. See you there tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Really?
And you literally pick a little case and you go down there immediately, and you're down there and you're living. And that was the first experience for me from living away from home. So it was about 3.5 hours away. So I went down there living in an apartment on my own, and sort of like, I had to grow up very fast in that small period. I think that's why loan deals, and you see these young lads going out on loan, because it takes them out of the comfort zones. Yeah. And that was the first time I went out of my comfort zone. I was, Manchester lad, been at Manchester City for 13 years. Yeah. I was in a comfortable place. Yeah. They gave you everything. Dietary wise, like programs, they did everything. They had 4 or 5 staff for each thing.
Crazy.
You go to Swindon Town and they have one person for everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
her name's Cheryl.
Yeah. So that's the way it was. But it was a great start for me. Great entrance to the other side of the game and what it was like to fight every week for your contract. Yeah. These lads are, were fighting for 1 and 2 year contracts, and they've got kids, they've got livelihoods, and
it'd be an intense environment.
And the money's very different to the Premier League. You know what I mean? So these lads are paying for mortgages, and they're working hard for their career. Yeah. So there was that aspect of it that really opened my eyes to it as well. To say, like, look, now I've got to put grind. It's not gifted to you. Yeah. You got to grind. Yeah. You got to work. You got to do the hard yards, and so that aspect, it was fantastic for me. I met some amazing characters in the dressing room, old and young, and who've gone off to do some pretty amazing. There was, like, in that team, Charlie Austin, Matt Ritchie, all played in the Premier League. You know what I mean? So it was a great experience for me, and then I came back from that loan spell, and then ended up signing for Peterborough on a full-time basis, which was pretty easy. They put a bid in for me, accepted, and then you move on, and which was again another move down, another move away, but it was it was the right move for me at that time. I always say hindsight's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? You could have done this one, you could have done that one. Yeah. It could have worked out. It might not have worked out. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Who knows? Yeah. But you do it based on what's in front of you at the time, and those pros and cons for what you're doing.
100%. And so many hypotheticals there. If you were to pivot then, or shift to this club, or make this decision, who knows? It's the journey we all go on, especially as like a professional footballer. Yeah. Right. And when you're doing all this like movement between different clubs, have you got like your family with you as well? Did you have a family at the time?
Yeah, so I had my wife now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, she was with me. She was with me then at the time. So she like quit a job to come with me, actually. Wow. Which is pretty huge sacrifice on her part.
Yeah, totally.
Because I was quite like I need people around me. Yeah. People, they'll laugh now. I can't sit in a room for an hour on my own and I'll be just going mad. You know what I mean? I need to be out. I need to be interacting. I need to be with people and around people. At times I find it quite tough. I think that's part of my character. Yeah. I like to be, whether it's the serious chats, laughing chats, I just like to be out and about and seeing people. So she came with me, which was a huge support for me at the time, because genuinely I needed it. If I'm being honest, as a young kid, I needed it, and she was great for me. She was great for me in terms of doing that for me, and then she fell pregnant when I was 21. Yeah. So in the sort of the time I was moving to Peterborough at the time, we found out then. And then obviously she came on the moves with me. It got a little bit harder when I did have my first one, in terms of Peterborough was about 3.5 hours away. She was still young. True. At the time, and so she moved back up to her mum's house at the time, to be obviously close to her, and for that support that she needed, that I probably couldn't give her at that time. Yeah.
And what about fatherhood, bro? Did like fatherhood sort of ignite like a different level of drive for you as a young athlete? Like, did that change your perspective or how you approach football in any way?
No, I think I was always a really pretty driven guy. The way I approach things, it just made it like more real.
Yeah.
Of now you've got people to look after. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I was 21, and we spoke before. You've got a young one yourself, and from that young age, it makes you grow up very fast.
100%. Yeah, it really does.
So for me, it was a great thing that happened for me. It was the best thing that happened for me. And going forward, then in my career, I knew that I had my people around me all the time, which made me tick as well on the pitch as well. So it was equally, it was an amazing thing for me.
And what was your, like, have you got like a unique approach to training or like discipline or how you approach your career as a professional footy player? Like, I remember speaking to TJ Petinaro when he was on the pod, and he just got, TJ as well, and he's just got that like crazy fighter mentality and spirit. He was saying whenever the All Blacks were playing, when he wasn't in the team, he would be training. He'll be running. He'll be doing like, 10K, 50. He's a madman.
No, and just, do you know what's funny? Obviously, when he got announced back into the All Blacks, like I text him, and like I seen people messaging and saying, well done, you know what I mean? And I said, it doesn't surprise me. Yeah. I literally messaged him saying, this does not surprise me.
Yeah, bro.
Well done.
Yeah.
I've seen the hard work you're putting in. You get out what you put in.
100%.
And it was simple for me. I knew he'd get back in just because I seen him putting in them hard yards every single day. Yeah. When people were going away, people were playing. There was a time where he probably thought he wasn't going to get back, you know what I mean? And he went through that again. And I think that I've got that similar mentality, when you've just got you just keep moving forward. That's all you can do. You've got to I always say to myself, if I step on the pitch today, I do the basics, I run, I work for the team, I help everybody, I'm a communicator, I try to, in a positive way, then they'll give that back to me. And it's sort of infectious, and then because not everyone is going to be at their best every single time they step on the football pitch. It's just the way it is. Yeah. So, but if you can give those basics and that, given that you turn up on the pitch, you give everything for your teammate, you work hard, you run, you do all the little basic stuff, you fight for each other. Then, if everyone's doing that on the pitch, and you know that your house is in order, then you can help. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then you always have a base that you can work from. Yeah. And I think that's what I try to do. Yeah. Lads, we on a Friday we have a little race, and I always pick a youngest one. You know what I mean?
Oh, do you get to choose who you get to sort of race up?
Yeah, no, it's kind of like just a generic, like, stand in the middle. Yeah. Go right if this way. If he says this, go left if they go that way. So reaction based stuff. Yeah. And I will always pick the youngest guys.
I love that.
But I do it on purpose because I genuinely I want to beat him. Yeah. So I can just have a little bit of fight, so they can look and go, wow, he's 34 and he's still wanting to beat me. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I will then, hopefully that will be installed in them for going forward in their careers, and they might look back when they're 34 and start grabbing the young lad and go, let's go.
Son.
You know what I mean? And it creates that togetherness as well. And it's the small things like that. But TJ sort of epitomizes the same sort of the way I've got that work ethic and drive. It's
massive, eh? And you must see a lot of that because there's quite a lot of overlap with, I guess, the Hurricanes players out of your facility that you train at. Is that in Lower Hutt or Upper Hutt?
In Upper Hutt, NZCIS, yeah. It's an amazing facility.
I've heard it's world class.
No, it's world class, yeah. There wouldn't be many better facilities around the world. Man. So it's, again, turning up to training every day that's a privilege to be a part of that as well. And to see the different codes, I've spoke recently when I went back to the UK about that switch over of codes and seeing people and the way they work. Like if I do, after my career and when I go into coaching and management, I think that certain aspects of that crossover of what they do and the way that people work it's just a beautiful environment to be a part of to sort of soak things. Yeah. So yeah, and we did amazing last season. The Hurricanes have done well this season, so there is a reason behind that.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
That bringing that togetherness throughout the groups and that connection.
Yeah. Yeah, they're massive, eh? Some of the
Oh,
rugby boys,
wow,
they're
mate,
huge.
yeah.
It's crazy. I saw Ethan de Groot in person for the first time, and he's Highlanders All Black guy. I always thought he was pretty small, and then saw him. He's like 6'1", 6'2", probably like 140 kegs of just muscle. It's like, what the fuck?
I walk past them sometimes in the gym and they're doing bench press and they'll have like 120 kg on there,
dude.
And I'll be like, is that all you're doing?
Yeah,
I'll be like, is that all you do? I do double that, mate. And they're just having a bit of banter, but now they're machines, man. They're absolute machines.
Yeah, they're huge.
Where they spend all their time in the gym, we don't spend all the time in the gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very different code.
Yeah, 100%. Bro, you also had a nomination. Is it the Puskás Award? How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, Puskás.
Yeah, Puskás Award.
Yeah.
I was doing my due diligence this morning, searching up some David Bull highlights on YouTube, and yeah, man, that popped up. Speak us through that goal. That's like fucking incredible. And I think you're the only UK player behind Wayne Rooney to ever be nominated for that award. So, yeah, what did that mean in terms of your career? And just speak us through that goal.
Yeah, that was amazing, really. I didn't think anything of it. That day as well, the Sky cameras, they was at the game because it was a derby with a local team. It was Preston Fleetwood. And I just came on, and it's something that, you try every now and again. They come off in training, they don't come off in training. And tried it, went for it, and it went in the top corner. And obviously, like you said, you finished that game. I got man of the match. I was on the pitch for I think it was like 15 minutes.
Bloody hope you got
man of the match. After
Jeez.
that, so that was amazing. But when I went away, then I think it was like 3 or maybe 2 months down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Got a phone call, and it was the media guy at the club, and he was like, "Look, you've been nominated for the Puskás Award." I was like, "No way." He was like, "Yeah." He said, "We've got like there's 10 vans at the club from CNN in America. There's like all these Sky Sports. There's everyone that wants to do interviews," and it was like madness.
Wow.
So it was a bit of a whirlwind, really. I think it was 2015, so we didn't have the social media was just starting out there, so you didn't have that like a crazy
viral effect.
Yes, yeah. So it was just sort of starting out. So I did quite a few cool things off the back of that, and it was certainly good for the exposure of myself at the time. And for me, it was it was a goal, and I loved it like it was any other goal. You know what I mean? But to be nominated for such a prestigious award around, like you said, one other Englishman that's ever been a part of that. It's pretty cool when you think about it and look back. So
hard out.
Yeah,
that's incredible. And does that do things in terms of like the valuation of you in the market as a footballer?
It doesn't. Do you know what I mean? It shows that I've got a quality.
Yeah,
but like But in this day and age now, it's all like stat based and if you're doing these things and all these sort of things, if you fit the right criteria for clubs, and there's so many criteria around what they're actually after. So unfortunately, it didn't just send me back to Man City. You know what I mean?
Starting a little.
Yeah. I'm straight back in.
Yeah, far out. No, it was an insane goal, bro. And I guess for everyone else listening as well that has played football or some sort of sport, I feel like most of us can relate to probably scoring a goal like once in a while, if it's at school or for your local footy club. But can you try and just articulate what is that feeling like of scoring in professional top flight football? Like what sort of, it must be almost like a drug. What does that feel like?
It's just a pure adrenaline rush. I think like you sort of have this out of body experience for a small amount of time, and anyone who's in the game and can tell you like scoring, I've scored some good last minute goals that meant it was 3 points. And I think the closest thing that we probably had to that feeling last year was probably Finn Sermon scoring the last minute against Victory, and that like, even though he scored, the feeling and the timing of it and what it means to you and your group that you're with is so much at that time.
100%.
You want that feeling again and again and again, because it is the best feeling when you work so hard for a group of players and you score a vital goal, or you score a goal that means something to you and your teammates. There's just something so special about that small little feeling that you get. It's like an out of body experience.
I can imagine. Yeah, it's crazy. And how have you also, I'm really interested to hear, how have you juggled like sort of popularity and fame, especially being like a young man playing professional footy, earning good money? How have you sort of not got lost in the sauce along the way? Is that through like your partner just having good fundamental sort of values and beliefs? Because, and I'm also just amazed through a lot of these sort of like, you know, young fellas who are top talents in the Premier League or whatever league they're playing in across the world, the amount of money they're on and their age and their youth, like it would be so easy just to go downhill.
Yeah, definitely. I think like this day and age as well, it's very different, the monies that are getting thrown around, especially from them young ages. I think for me, it was that grounding I had. I came from a working class family. My dad, like I said before, my dad was working 7 days a week. Yeah. My mum works with autistic children. She comes home from a shift all day that, you know, sometimes she'll come home with bruises from being, you know what I mean? From hit, or do you know what I mean? And she's smiling. Yeah. She just wants to be there to help. And I think for me, it was always just that grounding. And it was also the grounding of how hard I worked to get there. And I never wanted to let that go. You know what I mean? And for me now, I take a lot of like happiness out of like helping younger professionals in terms of being in that space, because I want to give something back. People have given to me and put hours and hours into me over my career. So they're all part of my career of helping me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm very appreciative of that. And you know, as I'm getting to the latter stages of my career now, I want to be that person that can help and give back to the younger players and give that experience, especially like to the younger generation of kids. And I found myself in a position here in New Zealand where I can really make a difference. And I think you know, I speak with Scotty Wootton every day. Yeah. Who we travel in together, and we listen to everything all over the show about football, and we just talk football for hours in the car, and I think that's what we value very much being in New Zealand at the moment, that we have a chance to actually give our experiences to lads that haven't got them experiences yet. Yeah. You know, and prepare them and help them. Yeah. You know, so like for instance, you know, we've been a part of Alex Paulson, who's gone now to the Premier League. Yeah, and incredible. And I just get so happy seeing that he's come from here and he's going to there. Yeah. Same with Ben Wayne. Yeah. You know what I mean? And any of the other boys that do eventually move. Hard out. It's a sense of pride. Yeah. You know that you've been a part of their journey, and you're like almost like a dad like proud parent. Parent dropping the kids off at school and go on, you know what I mean? And I think that's where my groundings come from especially my family and my wife, and having kids so young, and having something to you know, to be a family person and be around that all the time. That's beautiful, bro. And it's cool you can have that perspective over, like, I guess, an intrinsic reason why you're still competing, you still got that hunger and that drive. It must be, have you ever thought about like retirement? Because you're still young, right? Yeah, I'm 34. You're still taking on the fucking young fellas? Yeah. No, I've always said that I want to be a professional for 20 years. So from 17, you know, that's 37. So if I can get to 37 and beyond, then that's something that I have in my head, that's what I want to do. Yeah. So what's like the natural expiry for like the standard retirement? I think you're looking at like a 15-year career, you know what I mean? But I think in this day and age, the science behind things and what you can do and the way you can do things and I think, you know, you've seen some of the Phoenix players. I think, you know, Durante and people like that who went on to play 38, 39. You know, so there is that opportunity, you know what I mean? And if you're doing things right, you're helping, you know. For me now, I always want to be the best I can be, but also make other people better as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's what I sort of strive on at the moment, making other people better players as well. That's awesome, man. When you first got so before Wellington City, were you at Bradford, yeah. Yeah, Bradford. Yeah. Talk to us about the decision to
come to New Zealand as well. Have you ever been to NZ before? Did you know much about the football here?
No,
what do they look like?
I did know it was on my bucket list.
Okay.
For when I did retire.
Yeah.
And I loved Lord of the Rings.
True.
So I was like,
it's crazy how much of a marketing, like tourism drive Lord of the Rings is.
It's scary, yeah. It's scary. The first thing I wanted to do was go to Hobbiton when I got here.
True.
So it was crazy. It was crazy. I remember it like I'd had offers in the UK at the time. I'd had offers to go to Australia as well. And then this one came up. It was, I think an agent knew the assistant coach at Bradford at the time who'd played in the A-League. Andy Todd, his name was. So yeah, and he got in contact with me, said, would you fancy it? Then, I spoke to Ufuk at the time. I just got a really good vibe off him. I got a really good vibe about the club. Did my research, because I always do my research, watch some games, watch the, how they work, that sort of thing, and spoke to some players, spoke to Chris Greenacre as well.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah. So I got a good feel for it, and at the time I'd been through a few things off the pitch at the time with my eldest son, and I didn't like the way a few things went. With the way I was probably treated over that period of time. So I had three managers in 1 year at Bradford. You know what I mean? So, and I played as a number 8, which I usually play as a number 10, number 9.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, okay, like I've got these options that are the same as what I've always been doing. So I said, I'm at an age now where I can actually still go somewhere and I can make a difference. I didn't want to be coming at 35, 36 and not being able to give a good, like a good, what would you say? Just like I didn't want to come out here and be not giving everything that I could actually give as a person and a player. Yeah. So for me, it was a great timing. And like most men do anyway, they go and ask the wife, did he fancy it? And she said yeah. So we'd always stayed in the northwest in Manchester, and it was like stay around, stay around, and to go from, I'd had offers in London and all over the UK, up in Scotland, and it was like I never really took them because I was just wanted to be in the northwest and close to family, and this one came up and my wife was like, let's just try it, let's do it, let's experience it.
That's cool.
So I was like, yes,
100%.
I almost wanted to hear that.
Yeah.
In a weird way, I wanted to hear that.
Yeah.
So she said it,
because that's a huge move, eh?
It's not a normal move. It's the furthest way you can go away from home. But I liked the fact it was English talking.
Yeah.
I felt like that would be a big pull in terms of
totally,
like my children, my wife settling in and stuff like that. So I was on a plane like 10 days later after I spoke to the manager, and we'd organised everything, and then I got here and Gilly picked me up, and Gilly was great. He took me to all the like the stuff that I needed to do. I just got a great feeling of like himself, Domi, all the coaches, Chiefy, who was obviously assistant in there. When I met everyone, I just got this really good feeling that this was a good place for me immediately off the back, and that's credit to the Phoenix.
Yeah, wow. And was that like more so of like a gut, just instinct?
Yeah, gut instinct. Yeah, it was. So like England's very like get you through the door, like fend for yourself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it was the first time, probably, coming over here, like I said with Gilly and stuff like that, the relationship straight away, I hit off with him, and he looked after me in terms of getting all my house sorted, getting everything done for me, making me feel really like part of something immediately.
Yeah, nice.
And just treated me like a person.
Yeah.
And then the club and the way the manager was with me when coming in, and they really made me feel welcome immediately, and it was a special feeling, because I came out here on my own for 6 weeks, so I had to find a house, pick the furniture, do all that sort of stuff, which again Gilly helped me with. But it was then I'm obviously meeting the lads. I'm out, and the next thing I know, I'm catching carway on the beach, and it's my first time. You know what I mean? So it was like, which I love fishing. So Rufa got me into that.
Awesome.
So I just felt like, whoa, this place is amazing. This is a bit of me. I remember walking out staying at the Intercontinental. And I couldn't sleep for jet lag. And I remember walking out onto the waterfront, And I was like, I think it was like someone's just coming up, and I was like, whoa, this is amazing.
Can't beat Welly on a good day.
No,
mate.
I think it was a good day that day. So it was like, it's just aligned, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just felt, wow, this is a place. I just had this instant feeling like, this is a good place for me.
That's cool.
This is the right time.
Yeah.
This is the right timing for me. And then I've never looked back once I got the family over here. They enjoyed it immediately. The welcome that I had off the people, the fans. You know, they've got some amazing people here in Wellington, and I sort of like fell in love with that feeling that it was good, and people were being very honest to me, and there was no transactional thing, or it was, do you know what I mean? They were just being genuine and asking me, like, it was stuff that I'd not had for a long time, and I just felt like, wow, I want to give back to this place, and then the football followed, and it was fantastic.
I'm good, like pretty stoked to hear that, eh? And I think it's part of just like, I'd like to think just how innately our culture in New Zealand, you know, we don't just see people as like widgets that create a thing or do X, Y, and Z. Like, I feel like a lot of people see them as the individual with the family and different responsibilities and stuff there too. So that's awesome. And that was 2019 you first
2019. So coming in at 2019.
That's pre-COVID as well.
Pre-COVID. It was so we really settled in at this point. You know, with football's going really good. We had a great team. We do some fantastic things on the pitch. I was really enjoying my football. The jet ski as well. Got, you know, like Stephen Taylor and Gary Hooper all got jet skis.
Nice.
So 3 English people, never been out on the water ever. So we always thought it was a good idea to get jet skis.
Yeah, what's the first thing you do? Jet skis.
Yeah, so it was like the maddest thing ever. So we'd train, we'd go out in the water and stuff like that. It was amazing. But we had some funny times. The first time I actually got my jet ski, we'd gone out and Stevie had like a bigger jet ski than I did, and Gary had the same jet ski as me, and we went out to Breaker Bay because that was the only side that was a bit flat, because we didn't want to go out when it was too rough. Yeah. So like Stevie hates the water, believe it or not. Like he does, you know, like he would wear like his Nike trainers to, instead of like, you know, proper, like what do you call them shoes, like, you know, the like wet shoes. Yeah. You know what I mean? He would wear like trainers, you know, like, because he was like, I'm not getting wet. True. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he had the bigger, powerful one, and we went out to Breaker Bay, and we're all like thrashing around, all like that. He's coming in hot, like trying to just splash us and stuff like that. And anyway, he comes flying in this once, and I'm thinking he's gonna hit us. So he's gone that sharp that he's flung himself off like 10, 15 meters, and he's coming through the air. So I'm giggling my head off, like, so his hoops. And anyway, I've got this like phone package on. Yeah. So I'm like, get my phone out for this, because he's in the water and he's like struggling. Because he's got his life jacket on, but he's like, and he's scared that he's going. He's like saying, "Oh no, the orcas are gonna get me, the sharks are gonna get me." He's like going mental. So we're giggling our heads off. Anyway, he starts swimming. His jet ski's behind him, but he's that panicking. Yeah. That he's like,
can he swim?
He didn't look like he could. Do you know what I mean? But he's like swimming towards me. And I'm like, oh no! So I'm like trying to put my phone back in in like the waterproof thing. Yeah. And he says to me, he gets up on the side of the jet ski, and just tries to jump on with me, but you're supposed to get on the back. Yeah. So he tips me in.
Oh fuck! And is your phone?
My phone. So but I've not sealed it, so it's full of water in the thing. So he breaks my phone, but my jet ski's then rolled over, so we're both in the water. Then he swims to his jet ski and jumps on. So that day, we've obviously brand new, just got these. Yeah. The guy in the shop goes, if you roll the jet ski, which side? He says, you have to do it this way. Like clockwise or anti-clockwise. Yeah. And we're like, yeah, sweet, whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? Happen. Yeah, that's never going to happen. So this happens the first day. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, which way? So I'm in the water for a good 40 minutes, right? And Hooper's trying to ring the shop. Stevie's like driving around like that, smiling like, you know what I mean? Yeah, like he's back on his thing, and he's going, are you all right there? You all right, mate?
What happens if you tip it the wrong way? Does it like...
So it floods the engine.
Oh, no way.
So you're done, you know what I mean? So anyway, so I'm just waiting for this phone call. So anyway, I decide, no, leave it. I'm going to just we'll turn it one way.
Yeah.
So I've turned it one way. Smoking.
Fuck.
So I've turned it back on. It's smoking, black smoke everywhere. And Steve is like, that does not look good. You know, like, get that in. So I've like gone into Breaker Bay, and I don't know, like, a lot of people listening will know Breaker Bay for like the waves are pretty decent. You know what I mean? It's quite a thingy day. So I've gone onto the stones. So I'm like sat there and I'm like, jet ski's done. You know what I mean? And these two are like laughing their heads off on the beach.
I like how the bro also just deleted all of the evidence that you filmed of him.
Yeah, he deleted everything. Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, like my phone's. I'm thinking my jet
Very
ski's
smart.
broke. My phone's done. So anyway, the Hooper gets hold of the guy, and he's like, "No, listen. If you're smoking, it's a good thing.
Oh.
It means you've not flooded the engine."
Oh, sweet.
So I was like, "Oh, sweet."
Let's go,
So
boys.
he's like, but then I'm on the stones. So I'm pushing this jet ski. I couldn't push it off the stones on my own. So there's like three ladies on a nice stroll. And they're like, "Oh, are you struggling?" And I was like, yeah. So they're all dressed in the normal clothes. Got, you know, took the shoes off and stuff. They're helping me get it in the water and stuff. And anyway, they're just about to get me, like, get me in. This massive wave comes crashing, drops all three of the ladies in and washes them up the beach.
Oh, shit.
With all their clothes on and everything and the gear. So we're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But by this time, they've pushed me out. You know, so I'm turned on. And,
So you're good. Did you just leave them?
Yeah, and we're like, "Oh, see you later, thank you." They're putting the glasses back on. They're like, "Oh, this thing." It was absolutely mental, man.
Bro, this your first day with the jet
Oh,
skis?
we had some. I've got like loads of the jet ski stories. Got some real funny ones.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy. I'm just glad you didn't fucking break your jet ski.
No, so was I. I felt relieved. Do you know what I mean? So
that's crazy. Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
is there within the squad as well? Like this this current past season, obviously losing to Melbourne Victory in their semi-final. I don't think I've ever screamed as much when we did that equaliser. What do you sort of bring it up to the team for their performance this year? Because this has been like, I've never seen the Phoenix have this level of sort of synergy with each other and the style of football you're playing. Like, what do you bring that up to?
in terms of what? In terms of like trying to...
Yeah, like what have the factors been that you think have made the team perform how they have this year?
I think definitely, you know, since Uffy came in, I think things definitely changed at the club. I think the actual growth behind the scenes in the club, with obviously all the stuff that went in during COVID as well, the club did an amazing job to get through that period. That was tough for players, staff, the club, you know, everyone that involved with the club, and even the workers, you know, the academy workers, everyone. It was a tough time for everyone. Yeah. So to navigate through that and into the place that they are now, away from the field, you know, they're working at like, the club's working at like a top European standard. And if you look at what they're producing in kids and the way we're actually playing, and we've been, you know, a top 6 side for the last 5 years, pretty much. You know what I mean? So I think from Uffy and Chiefy, because Chiefy's always been a part of that as well, you know, and those two, the hard work that they've put in, especially in the first team space, like, and then obviously the work that all the staff and the away from the pitch have been doing as well. It's just sort of connected and got to a point where we're seeing what's come from that, I think. For me, we've kept, in the playing group, always kept a good core of players, myself, Tim Payne, Alex Rufer, Scotty Wotton's now come into that frame. You know, we've had Costa, who's obviously...
Yeah, he's playing great.
Yeah, but he's been around, he's won things, you know, great people, and, you know, and then you sort of like sprinkle that as well with the talent of some of the youth players that have come through the academy and stuff like that. I think that's a great recipe for that connection. I think first and foremost, I think good people. We've got good people. That every team I've ever won anything with has always been good people. Yeah, and all doing the same things. Yeah, I think Griff's, who's came in on the coaching staff, has been fantastic for the defensive side of the game for us, and working with some of the young lads. And then, you know, Chiefy's probably seen over the years of good things that have worked, bad things that have worked, and he's just been himself. And him being himself is you want to play for him, you want to fight for him, and I think that's what you can see as fans, that we're all fighting for him, and we're all running through a brick wall for him.
Yeah.
But equally, he's he's tactically so switched on and sees the game so differently. And
right.
you know, I've certainly under Buffy and Chiefy for my post career, like, I've learned a lot. You know, I've learned a lot more in those 5 years being with those two.
True.
You know, about the game.
Yeah.
And the way they see the game.
Yeah.
Which I've loved. Do you know what I mean? So that will like resonate with me when I do finish up.
Yeah. And especially with that semi-final, bro, like to sell out the Cake Tin, 34,000 people, or thereabouts. What was that experience like running out to, like, that's Wellington Phoenix history, right? Never been done before.
Yeah. We and that's the great thing. Over the past 5 years, we have created every bit of history of the club.
100%.
You know, so we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely.
Which shows and proves it. You're now selling young talents to some of the best teams in the world. You know, like, you know, in top leagues. So it's showing that the club is doing fantastic things all the way through.
Yeah.
But just for me personally, as an older lad, to walk out at the Cake Tin and it be full was amazing. It was just a great feeling. I had that close feeling for, you know, like the COVID when we came back a couple of times and I think we got 23, 24, which was amazing.
When you could go to sports games again.
Yeah, which was a great night and stuff like that. But we'd earned that. We earned that. You know, we earned that full stadium. And I think hopefully for me, you know, for those fans that came and they've been before and they might look at it and go, you know, this is a team we actually really want to get behind. You know, the Yellow Fever obviously amazing every single week.
Shout out.
Like fantastic, by the way.
Hard out.
Yeah, and then, you know, if we can get some of those fans that came to those games and sign up to be part of it again next season and show that these lads want to do something good for Wellington and again and resonate with the fans. I think if we can grab a bit more, you know, it'd be amazing to keep up the numbers.
It's funny with that, because I feel like in New Zealand we're not too good at being like spectators in professional sport. Like, you go to an All Blacks game and everyone kind of sits down, you know, cheers here and there, but it's quite like disengaged in many ways. You might be involved in like a Mexican wave.
Yeah.
With football, I think it's a bit different. You know, if Phoenix are up, we're at home, get the rig out, shirts come off.
No, it's a good atmosphere.
That's good. But, you know, there must be so many differences and stuff we can learn from, you know, like English football where, you know, just fans just come out and they're just so passionate to support their club. Yeah,
definitely. I think that, you know, we live in an age at the moment where things are expensive as well. Like, I get it as a father and you know, friends of mine, and if you've got a lot of kids and bringing the kids over, you know, like to games and stuff like that. So I get it. All we can do is do the right things on the pitch, and like I said, try to resonate with the fans to try and, you know, put them through the door as well. It's an equal thing. You know what I mean? You don't want to come watch a team that's not playing for the for the town or you know, playing for the city.
Totally.
But if you get it so that we are doing that, and then those new fans are coming, then they go, this is the side I want to support. And you know, like the club's only what, you know, it's how many years old now? 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. You know, in England, there's clubs that are 50 odd years, 100 years old. You know what I mean? So that's historic. Yeah. We're creating ours now. We're having to build that foundations. So equally, we just need to put good performances on for the fans and hope that it keeps growing. Yeah,
totally. Well, I think building off a pretty bloody epic base from last season, so yeah, long may it continue. How does A-League like level of football compare to over in England? You probably get asked this question quite a lot.
All the time, and it's the same thing for me. I think that it doesn't get the rep that it deserves. And for me, the proof's in the pudding in terms of the amount of English lads, myself, Hoops, Stevie, Scotty that's come out here. You know, other teams like Zach Clough, Lafondra, all these sorts of players now that have Tommy Aldred, all the players that have been in the A-League, there's loads now. You know, since from when I came, there was probably 3 or 4 English lads, but a lot more are doing it now.
Yeah.
Because they're seeing the quality of the level and going, this is a good league that we want to play in.
Yeah.
But also, it's sort of everyone you ask, they say how hard the level is. It's not as easy as everyone thinks. Everyone's, you know, the Kiwi players, all fit, all strong, all mentally disciplined, good lads, the same as the Aussies. So it's a good level, and now you're seeing the talent that are going to big teams. You're not a poor league if you're not producing that talent. You know what I mean? So for me, and everyone that probably speaks that have played out here, that have played in the Championship, played in League One, I think it's definitely of a Championship level of club of football what's giving good, and it's a real good tactical game. Obviously, because of the heat, it's a little bit different sometimes. It's can slow, but it's a tactical game. Yeah, but doesn't mean the quality's not there, which I believe it is.
Yeah, it must be tough, especially just the amount of travel you have to do. Yeah, but like, and especially traveling over to like Perth and the Australian heat you got to deal with. Yeah, how do you do you have any like sort of tips for managing that travel load? Must be tougher for a young family as well.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough every 2 weeks, you know, going away, especially you know, and we've had some over the years. We've had some tough ones in terms of the COVID times and stuff like that.
Did you have to stay in Aussie for that?
Yeah, that was like 4 months, you know, 4 or 5 months. That was really hard for me. You know, I've moved. I've been in 5 houses, five houses in 5 years.
Damn.
So you look at that. I've moved house every single year. So for my children and my missus, that's been tough. But like I said, we've enjoyed it that much that we knew that we wanted to go through that. And everyone was going through stuff anyway at the time. So yeah, I wanted to stick a part of that as well. But for me, the travel, you just kind of you do try to get used to it. Yeah. The S&C, like Ouija's fantastic as well. Like they'll give us what the weather's going to be like already, so it'll be fluid up more, and you know, not that we don't anyway, right. But you know, like they'll give us some sort of idea, and they try to do the best around flights and rest and what we can do and what they can offer to us. You know, like it is crazy what we're actually doing. Yeah, we're traveling 3.5 hours. A plane journey. To play a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is crazy, man.
And the time difference every time's 2 hours. You know what I mean? So I wake up on an away game at 6 o'clock in the morning, bright-eyed, you know, like ready to go. And I'm thinking the game's at 7:45 at night. That's a long time.
Hard out.
So you just have to structure things a little bit different, but you do get used to it
and adapt. Yeah. And especially like Perth, because what's the time difference there? Is it like
5 hours? Yeah,
5 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah. So we've been going over there for like a week at a time.
Wow, just to acclimatise.
Yeah. And the heat. I've played in some games where you're zapped. You know, like I would prefer it to be like -2 and get warm. You know what I mean? Fuck. But yeah, some of the times that I've played where we're having water breaks and stuff like that, it's hard. You've just got to. It's mind over anything. Then
mind over matter, eh?
Yeah.
After the semi-final loss to Melbourne Victory, what happens after that? Like once the game is finished, is it a chance to obviously everyone's devastated, they're gutted. Is it a chance to sort of reflect and celebrate on the season? What's like the mindset of the team in the back locker?
It was very tough because we as a group genuinely believed that we could have won it and gone all the way. So you know, after the game, there was a lot of tears in the dressing room. You know, like there was from management, staff, everything. You know, like we'd pushed a lot into the season, and when you're with each other, like we are all the time, you're a family. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're connected in that sense, and so we sort of sat together for a long period of time. You know, the manager spoke, the chairman spoke. You know, about how proud they are, but equally we were proud of each other and what we'd been able to do. And you know, that night I remember we all sort of like went off on our own, and then you know, Roos put a text and said, "Look, let's get together. Let's sort of be together after it. Like we've got to remember what we've done together." And so I agreed with that. It's better to be together when you're feeling like you what you're going through all together. So we did that, and you know, we had a couple of days to get together as well that we always do at the end of the season, which is good in reflection. But realistically, you don't. For me, when you're in big games and and it doesn't go your way, you sort of feel like you reflect a little bit later. Do you know what I mean? It's like a flash, and then you're feeling a certain way, and then, you know, a week to 2 weeks later, you sort of go, wow. Like, that was tough, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I felt like that was sort of the way. And then over that period of days, you get yourselves ready. A lot of the lads were going off to like the All Whites, and lads were going back home, because obviously international players and stuff like that. So it was sad, yeah. I was gutted, but it shows what can be done as well.
Totally, man. Yeah, such an epic game. I just remember the equaliser. I was at my partner's dad's house, and I just like stood up and screamed and just like ran around the house, and no shame, mate. That was
no. That's the amazing thing. Like, I remember running over to Oscar at the time, and you're just looking in the crowd at the time, and people are probably jumping over people that they don't know.
It was like a
they're
movie,
all over, like they're running down the steps, they're jumping over. It's just that feeling that you can get through all those
hard out.
Yeah, it will live with me for a long time. That feeling, and just seeing seeing the crowd and seeing everyone. You know, I've got friends and family in the crowd as well, and they're talking to me like, some of them used to be huge rugby people, you know what I mean? And they're saying to me, that's the best feeling I ever had at a sports event.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? So we've done that.
Yeah.
So we've just got to keep continuing to try and strive for having more occasions like that.
Hard out. Yeah, man. It was beautiful. Awesome part of history. David, bro, before we wrap up, we'll do some quick fire questions, but where can people keep in touch with you and your mahi?
So like just probably the Instagram, really. Yeah. Keep obviously channels through the Phoenix, and for me that's a good place where I show what things resonate with me and as a person and as a player. And
we'll chuck a link in the description below. And you've also got your David Ball like football sort of academy as well. So give that a little plug as well.
Yeah. So we sort of sit in that space from 7 to 14. For extra training. So we're not actually a team. We're not actually. It's called David Ball Football. We're not actually a team. We offer extra coaching for, you know, obviously parents that are unable to obviously coach to a standard and stuff like that. We're fitting in that sort of middle ground there, where sort of that grassroots football, and where we can help and better people's techniques and abilities, girls and boys. And it's been going great. It's really enjoyable. It's something that away from the game that I've really enjoyed, just helping the younger players. And like I said, because we're not a team, I didn't want to go and take players from different teams and that are already doing great things. You know what I mean? I just wanted to be a place where we could offer something extra if you wanted it. And we run that out of NZCIS as well, which is a great facility for the kids, and something I'm very proud and something that I put a lot of energy in to move forward, and hopefully we can keep doing good things there.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah, we'll chuck another link as well to because you got a website for that, don't you?
Yeah, we've got a website, and we've got an Instagram as well. So
awesome.
You can sort of book in there.
Yeah, man, perfect. Might have to get my my daughter there when she's ready. Get her some training with the man himself. We've also got, as a part of partnership with Moana Road, they provide all of our guests a nice pair of Moana Road sunnies. So that is all yours, bro.
Yeah, lovely. I love that.
Straight from Paulie B himself.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. They're just the ones I like as well. So nice.
Man. And yeah, bro, just want to say a massive thanks for jumping on the podcast, and really appreciate your time and your chance to share a little bit more about your unique journey into football and what's next for the Wellington Phoenix and yourself. So yeah, man, we're all going to be supporting and rooting for you guys hard. So massive thanks, bro.
No, I appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
Cool. And we'll just finish off some quick fire questions.
Yeah.
First one, what brings you true happiness?
Family.
What is the meaning of life?
Meaning of life is to make memories, enjoy the people you love, and just be respectful to others, and remember that everyone has something going on in life. So don't judge people. Give out what you want to be received.
I like that. From the meaning of life to who's the biggest dickhead you've played football against?
Oh my God, there's loads of them. Oh God, I couldn't give you. I couldn't honestly give you a name. There's quite a few that do you know what? No, it wasn't a dickhead. I played against Stevie Taylor.
Yeah.
Before I actually came out here and met him on a genuine basis, and he is one of the biggest trash talkers you will ever meet
during the game.
Sledging the things he's doing is, I can't say him on the camera, but he is incredibly mental. So yeah, but he's what an opposite end of the spectrum, you know, like when you see him off the pitch, brilliant.
I love those alter egos.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Advice you wish you knew about when you were younger.
Advice what? Sorry.
Advice you wish you knew about when you were younger.
Pretty much control what you can control in life. I think that, you know, you can't think about anything else that's going on that you can't control. You got to be yourself, and then everything that happens around you, you know, happens for a reason.
What does legacy mean to you?
What's that? Sorry.
What does legacy mean to you?
Being a good, you know, first and foremost, being a good person, being remembered for what I, you know, me as my family, and ultimately, you know, being successful in hopefully bringing something in back to the game, and you know, hopefully I've you know, it's a little bit of me, something sticks with people throughout time, and hopefully I've been a good teammate.
Nice, bro. What do you believe is the main thing that's holding back young people in New Zealand?
I think that it's a tough question. I think that I've probably not been here long enough to sort of judge the you know, that like
the societal
sort of aspect of the country. I think that everyone find something you love. That's what be my advice, is to find something you love and go for it, and you know that's what makes you happy. So try to find something that you want to do that you love, and go for it, and then at least you can say you've done it. Yeah, I think that's probably my advice I can give to anyone that's young.
That's nice, bro. We asked that question to a guest yesterday, and they said vapes, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, he's probably right. If we're going into single things like that, anything like that, stay away from it. Anything that, you know, I was very disciplined from a young age. You know, like, and that's the sort of things that, you know, I have these chats with my kids, especially my oldest, and you know, definitely stay away from that.
Stay away from the vapes, man. Cool, and we'll finish up with this quote from Oscar Wilde. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people just exist. David, thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thanks you. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.